Ladies and gentlemen, this could very well be the greatest podcast ever. Ever. I know Mary says I say that all the time. And if Charlie was here, which is a.k.a. Kim, right? Charlie, Bosley was here, she'd probably agree too. We have the beautiful Valerie Cullari, right?
Yeah.
And she's got a great story. I mean, she's got a great platform. She's got a great story. She's got a tremendous connection with the Disney world, Disney everything, which is very, very dear to my heart. But ladies and gentlemen, I want to welcome the beautiful Miss Princess Valerie. I'm going to call Miss Princess Valerie. We'll find out why. But Miss Princess Valerie. Say hello to everybody, Valerie.
Hello, everybody.
So Valerie's
Hi,
Miss Morris County 2021.
Yes.
Right. So, but you're one of those people that you've probably won zillions of beauty contests and Miss Internationals because you go back to the 90s and you were still doing this. This is like a career, right? Beautiful as a career.
Sure.
Well, isn't it?
No. I wasn't really. No, I didn't win anything. It was, I just was trying to get my messages out there.
Right. But your messages have changed through the 90s and 2000s, and then when you had children, right?
They have.
Mm-hmm.
In the beginning, they were focused on. I guess they were always focused on trying to make a change for the better.
Right.
It began with trying to keep people away from children. It was mostly children because it was in middle school.
Right.
And
was it bullying? I think that was one of the platforms, bullying.
It turned into bullying because I was trying to keep kids away from doing bad things, and it was like nerd, loser.
You? They were bullying you?
Yeah.
Really?
I was
Cinderella? Princess Valerie?
That was my prime. Far after that.
Wow.
No, but it's interesting because I have a very, I don't know if everybody has interesting lives.
Yeah,
we
absolutely.
all have these.
Everybody's got a story.
Tiny little things that happen to us that really change who we are and what we become. And when I was 11, my best friend was murdered. And this was right before this all happened.
Where are you from? Brooklyn? Stuff like that?
Yes, the hard city of Wayne, New Jersey.
No kidding.
Yes.
Wow. 11 years old?
By her father. And she was bullied very badly. And I think...
Oh, my God.
I'm not going to cry. And I think that I was like, okay, this is, and the father was under the influence of several different things. And I think that got me into both the anti-bullying, the anti-drugs, and all of that. And I was like, let me start here in the school. And it's actually still going. The group is called A Better Way. My God, that was 96. I don't even know how long.
Wow.
But then that's when it became to me, nerd, you're not going to be cool, you're not going to drink, you're not going to do that. I was like, no, I don't have to. Like, I was like, my thing was, I get high on life. So that made me the real winner. So, of course.
Wow. This is...
And then the next year, we're from an island in Croatia, my family. And so we go there. 97, we get stuck in the war. We're on a tiny island in the middle of, it was Yugoslavia then.
Wait, when did you move to the States?
My father came here.
Uh-huh.
And every summer we lived in Croatia.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Very small. It's just family. There were maybe, 50 of us that were family. And then, people would come from the mainland just to spend their summers. In the winters, there's nobody there. Mm-hmm. But... it's perfectly sunny and it's beautiful. I was 12 then. My brother was 6, and I remember we're out and jumping in the water, and I was like, wow, that's thunder. And I go home, and I was like, Mom, where is the storm? She's like, oh, it's so far out, you can't see it. You guys keep playing. And I'm a 12-year-old. I'm not dumb. I'm like, that can't be thunder. It's 80 degrees out. It's beautiful. We're in the Adriatic Sea. And, I'm nosy. I'm a woman. I'm nosy. So I remember it was maybe 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning, and the lights are on downstairs. And at that point, I understand a little bit of the language. I speak a little bit with my parents. And I hear them planning to get a boat to go to the other island, to get to another island, to get to the mainland. And all I'm thinking is, if we're here long enough and they cut off the main boat, because there's no meat, and nothing on the island. It's just what we have there in a small store.
Uh-huh.
And that's all that's there. And, I mean, from that, I don't remember how we left. I don't remember what happened. I remember getting to the mainland and it was just destroyed. There were holes in buildings. There were people in like army fatigues. It's like the army, I guess. And we got to the airport and it was just us and not one other civilian.
How did you guys get?
I was young and.
Did your dad know somebody? Was it something that like?
I honestly have no idea what the connections were. All I know is I was young, I was there, and I had a Mickey Mouse shirt on, and my brother had no idea what was going on because he was young, and every picture I was like this. Like that was our family trip.
Shocked.
Every picture. So like every time, it's like I freak out now when I hear thunder and my husband makes fun of me. And I was like, you have no idea what I think of thunder.
So that was an attack or something like that, right? It was the
Yugoslavian War, and now it's Croatia.
Gosh, I didn't realize that.
1997. And then, like, you go from that. I came back here. Like, I had a very different upbringing. So
Childhood, yeah.
Yeah, like, I used to get my eggs from chickens. I used to pick potatoes in the field. You know, we had pet donkeys. You know, like, it was very different.
Yeah.
But then, you know, in high school, again, I didn't really like fit in with anybody. It was just, I just wanted to do good.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people would say, oh my God, you're so fake. You're smiling and happy all the time. I was like, no, I'm just a happy person. Can't I
There's
just
nothing wrong with that.
Can I just be happy?
Yeah.
You know, and I think, you know, that irked me a lot. And then I got into a special program in a college. And again, it was very difficult because it was strictly singing and acting, and they picked one freshman. It was a boy and a girl. And again, all the seniors, because I was getting parts in these shows, they would, you know, post unnice things on bulletin boards. And I was like, you know what? Not worth it. Huh. So, you know, I was like, it's not worth it. X, Y, and Z. And my father, he was working for the government in Manhattan. And he worked for the government in Manhattan. And it was a very prominent position there. And it was my first day on campus the next year after I was going to quit, getting ready to go to school, and it was 9/11.
Oh my gosh.
And all I remember, and I was like, it was like hit after hit after hit, and I was like, I can't take anymore. It's like, let me just take some time off from school. And then I got very sick. I got mono because I was working 2 jobs. I was in school. And then I was bedridden for 3.5 months. I had it really bad. Mm-hmm. So, you know, I get the Epstein flares, and I had irritable bowel. Like, it was just constant stuff.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't want to go back to school yet because my dream was to be a Disney princess.
Wow.
But this is where it came, you know, you're too fat, you're not tall enough, you're not this, you're not that. You know, and it came from all angles. And I went down and I auditioned with thousands of people. And I remember I was pin number 3. I still have my number 3. Wow. And I flew down by myself. You know, and they're calling people out. And you have to sing, you have to dance, you have to animate without speaking. They're like, okay, everybody face forward, everybody face this way, face that way. People leave, they come in, and they're like, okay, you wig, this, that, the other thing. And then they called me into a room and they were like, listen, we're really sorry, but at this time, we really can't offer you any of the face positions. That's what they would call them, face positions.
What, is Cinderella a face position, Belle?
Yeah,
oh, okay.
Yes, those are face characters.
Gotcha.
And I was like, that's okay, I understand. And in my head, I was like, I am too fat, I am too. And she's like,
oh, no.
We're going to offer you 4. And I remember...
What's 4?
4 positions.
What?
4 princesses. And I was like, I'm sorry, what? And she goes, well, when are you available to start? And I went, I will pack my car tonight. So I will fly home and pack my car tonight.
Oh my gosh.
I will not tell you what the starting rate was.
Like
because,
$8 an hour or something crazy like that. Like $6 an hour.
But the parades I did and the shows I did all the parades, I did the shows.
You did it for 4 years. I look back, it was, 4 years. You can count. I'm seeing you.
Yeah.
I think it was 4 years because that's what it said. It was 4
Yes.
years. Holy crap, that's amazing. So what was your favorite character?
My favorite character was Belle.
Okay.
Because, this is a big because, you are not allowed to speak out of your character. So Belle was intelligent. She reads books. So she knows what a TV is. She knows about the Harry Potter books and movies. But Cinderella is, oh, what's a television?
Oh, that's
Oh, I'm sorry.
right.
What's a vehicle? My horses? I have 4 horsepower. But that's because I have 4 horses. Whereas
I can't
Belle,
believe you. I feel like I'm really with a Disney princess right now. This is flipping amazing. The best podcast ever. Mary, you heard it here. Bosley. Go ahead.
And Snow White, I can never speak out of my voice. Sorry, I don't want
Oh,
to.
and you have to do that.
Disney contract.
What's that thing with the?
Oh,
You have to.
your hands have to be like this at all times.
Yes.
Sleepy, happy, grumpy, dopey, these special duck.
At all times, you have to be able to ramble things off. And you have to have security
Oh my
because
gosh.
people get a little close,
Yeah.
especially as Ariel. Because,
Yeah.
but
You were Ariel too. Oh my gosh.
but my favorite
This is the
character,
best.
Cinderella was the most regal, but she's 16, so you couldn't act.
She's 16.
Sorry,
She's really 16.
Snow White's 13.
Are you serious? I had no idea. But wait, there's princes and princesses and.
Well, listen. Can we listen? I'm getting over Mr. Potato Head.
Oh.
Can we not deal?
What about Dr. Seuss? Forget
Stop
about
it.
Dr. Seuss.
Stop it! Don't take this away from me.
Holy cow!
Yeah, but then people would come in and they would be like, "Okay, ready? If you're the real this, where's your prince from? What's his name? Tell me quick!" And you have to be like, "Prince Charles. Where is he? He's off with Aurora." You know where they are. They're probably out fencing or they're off on their horses. What's your horse's name? You have to name these so fast.
Holy mackerel!
And the best was I actually got to do a proposal. A man came in the back and asked me to propose to his fiance. And we're not supposed to, but I did. Sorry. It was the most wonderful thing in the world.
That's amazing.
So, you get, and then this is where it came in, is my whole reason of wanting to do this is because it's magic.
Mm-hmm.
It's magic. You are seeing, it's not just kids, it's adults. And with
I know.
being able to do this, you can volunteer your time for this place called Give Kids the World. And this is where it's these children, it's their last wish, is to see or be in Disney, and sometimes it's meet a princess or meet Tigger. Oh, I was also Pluto.
Oh my
I
gosh.
can hear you.
Oh my gosh.
And Rafiki, but let's just stick with,
The princesses.
yeah, a little more fancy.
Wow. This is amazing. I feel like I'm being interviewed. I think this is amazing. So keep going. Keep going.
But the highlight of everything was getting to meet these kids. And some of them were older, but that, I think, was when I was like, this is brought into the more of the bullying, because I had a lot of stomach problems, I had medical problems, and I was on a lot of different medication, so I would fluctuate in my weight. And my nickname became Heiferella.
Oh my. Who gave you that name? The Disney people? Like
The other
Car-
Cinderellas.
Oh my gosh.
But I was also one of the oldest. They were all 16 and 17, and I was 25. So, but again, it still hurt me. And I said, you know what? I can work at Give Kids the World. I can do what I want to, do the special stuff. Once I am in Phantasmic and I'm trained as a princess dancing, that's my goal. I'll pack it in. And then I'm telling you, it was like a week later, and they were like, "Val, you're getting trained as Snow White and Phantasmic. You're dancing with the prince."
You see, you put it out in the universe. Me and you, we're both universe people. We were just talking about that.
Totally
right?
universe.
Holy mackerel. You put it out there, and then Uncle Walter's like, shh, pixie dust all over the place.
Oh my God. Pixie dust. I swear, my daughter has it in every pocket. She's like, Mom, should we throw glitter now? Like, I'm like, we're not celebrating it. But yeah, I got trained, and the prince that I worked with, made it very clear that he was not happy partnered with me. I did a few of my phantasmics, and then, some time went by, and they called me in, and they were like, well, can we see you do your Cinderella? And I present Cinderella as a princess. Mm-hmm. She is she has a castle, and this and that, and they said, you know what, Val, you're a little too mature for Cinderella. And I wanted to be like, yeah, she's 16. And they were like, well, you could still do the other ones. And I was like, the 13-year-old? Like, it was just shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, you know what? This is my sign. It's time to go home,
right.
Complete college, and start doing what I want to do.
Right.
And I did. It went from there, and I needed the break anyway. I graduated. I got my degree in communications, interpersonal communications. My
you have fine arts. Don't you have a fine arts degree?
Yes,
you do.
I had my BFA, my minor in psychology, and I've continued. I've gotten the certifications were after I found out about my children, but then I found out I had endometriosis, so I had to go through laparoscopic surgery, and that's when I found out that I probably, most of the time you can't have kids once you have endometriosis. So that hit me hard because I am a child person.
Right,
I just want to be around kids. So I began my foundation, which was Angels Without Wings Battling Bullying, because a lot of my friends were telling me that their kids were going through stuff. So I completely forgot that I got my certification in grief counseling because I wanted to help my friends' kids that were going through things. And, we would have events, I would meet these great families, and a lot of these kids happened to have autism, a lot of my friends' kids. So I began, it's very hard to start a foundation, especially when that becomes that was the thing. There was a fluctuation of anti-bullying things happening.
Right.
So I kind of let that set to the side, and I began, I worked with the Newark Police Department. I was Wonder Woman, the Batman that works in the Newark Police Department. So I was the Wonder Woman. We were working with the FBI fundraisers. I was doing fundraisers around the town that they needed, characters at. I was still doing Cinderella, even though.
Wow.
That I was.
You still have a dress, you fit in the same dress as you did years and years ago, that blue dress. I saw that
you have
post,
to go through some kind of security to get any of that out. But I did have other dresses. I did also do Elsa.
Wow.
So I did Elsa appearances. I also had a custom Barbie car made. So I was doing Barbie for different events. Everything was volunteer except for I would do birthday party appearances, because you have to work somewhere.
Yeah, you gotta get paid sometime.
And then I had a very serious incident with my, I'm not going to say what happened. I think I meant to do what happened. Whatever. I had a rectal prolapse, so I had to go through a major surgery. It took a long time to recover from that, and when I was done, I had to have I couldn't do as much as I used to do. I couldn't go and do the dance parties with the kids. I had to kind of take a hiatus from things, but I still did the fundraisers, just from a different kind of side.
Right.
And then maybe 4 years later, after having, my desk job, I met my husband and I got pregnant. And it was I couldn't.
He slept with Cinderella.
And from all of that, that's what you got.
I'm so sorry. No, because I'm looking at you. I feel like I'm talking to Cinderella.
And I can't tell you what Prince Charming said.
Oh my God. So you guys.
The rumors in the castle are flying.
Where's Bippity Boppity Boop when you need her? All right, so of course, everything happens. He proposes to you. He gives you the ring, and then you have a family.
Yes, and this is I'm like sweating. I feel so un-Cinderella-like.
No, nobody sees anything. It's fine.
Where are my mice for my fans? The pregnancy was fine. Like they kept checking me. He did have a big head, and I was like, well, yeah, we're Croatian and Polish. We're gonna have big heads. Like this kid's never gonna have a small head. You know, I have to buy extra large hats. Like there's no shot. You know, they use extra large wigs. Like this is what you're gonna have. This is what's gonna happen. Yeah, we had to wear wigs, contacts, and we all had to have
Wow.
Mm-hmm. We all had to look alike.
Wow.
I'll throw little snippets in here.
Yes, please do. I'm just mesmerized. So go ahead. So the pregnancy was okay. You had a big head.
Yeah, and then
Sorry, I don't know if I should have said that. We'll edit that.
That's
So go ahead.
Totally. And I'm just gonna throw something funny in.
Yeah.
This was that during right after the Super Bowl, there was a commercial, and they're in the labor room, and they're advertising these new really spicy Doritos.
And the drummer, right?
And then all of a sudden, the guy's eating the Doritos, and the baby shoots out.
I saw that.
I was eating these spicy Doritos, and my water broke, and I was like, oh my God, it really works!
Holy mackerel!
That was the first thing.
So you're going into labor during the Super Bowl. Does your husband like, hang out, wait till halftime? Who was playing the halftime show?
It was 1 month after.
Oh, okay.
It was just, that's all I was thinking about.
Okay.
I was like, the Doritos work. So I called him. I was like, hey, it's happening. And he was like, I'm in the wood shop. And I was like, well, I'm sorry.
Are you talking to Pinocchio or Geppetto? Who's in the wood shop?
My husband.
Oh,
I
thought you're still in character. Sorry.
I know.
By the way, Geppetto, Pinocchio, never mind. Go ahead.
That's how it goes. Oh, please. I was trying to convince my daughter that crickets aren't scary.
Jiminy.
Everything is related to Disney in the house.
Yeah. So go ahead. So he's in the wood shop. He's like, hang out. I got to finish this whittling.
Yes.
Wow.
He whittles. So then.
So he's really not whittling. Okay.
You know, I don't know what he's doing in the wood shop.
Well, that's what people do. They whittle in the wood shop.
He actually makes these tables.
Does he really?
Mm-hmm.
No kidding.
He custom makes these tables.
Wow.
Yes. I thought it when I came in. See, tangent. That's why I need the sign.
Well, no, I'm not going to use that
tangent.
Sign. Yeah. By the way, for the audience that sees this sign, she said if I ever think she's talking too much, just write you're talking too much, but I would never do that. This is a really great interview. Go ahead.
So, we get to the hospital. Everything is good, and that was it. Everything was fine. You know.
This is Rocco.
Yes, this is Rocco, who's named after my father, Rocco.
And that's not Italian? That's Croatian.
Croatian.
Wow, that's like Croatian Italian.
Yeah.
We'll call it that.
Yeah, and his name was Rocco Carmen. Go think.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's a great name. That's like a rock star name.
Yeah, he is. He is a little rock star.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, keep going. I'm sorry.
It's okay. It's okay. Well, actually, I wrote in the. There's a book here for you.
That you wrote, right?
I did.
Awesome in Autism. Awesome in Autistic.
But I wrote a note to you in there, and it actually is a little thing about Rocco and music.
Real? Oh, you know what? We got to get to your platform because there's so many things I got to talk to you about.
I'm so sorry.
No. So go ahead. So I know you have 2 kids. We're only up to the first one.
I'm
Gang.
sorry. I'm
All right.
sorry.
It's
I'm
okay.
going to talk fast. I'll talk fast. I was told not to talk fast because my husband says everything is a blur. But he also can't listen fast. That's his problem. This is my first baby. I've been with many babies. I babysat triplets. But I never. You don't know they're supposed to hit their milestones. That's awesome. And the first time I went into the doctor, 1 month old, we're good. So then 6 months old, I'm thinking can't tell delays by 6 months. Mm-hmm. And he's like, just keep an eye on this and this. And I was like, yeah, sure. Okay. So then 1 year comes and he's like, oh, he should be doing this. And I was like, oh, all right, I'll keep an eye on it. And like my gut was kind of like, oh, okay. So now I'm at home. Google, don't go to Google. Because I'm on Google. And I was like, oh, my kid, he's got scarlet fever. And this is going to.
No.
So I'm like dreading this. And I mention it to my husband. And he goes, and I keep getting, what does he say? Albert Einstein didn't talk till he was 5. So-and-so didn't walk till he was 3. And I'm like, thank you for the support. So then, I'm really keeping an eye on certain things. And I was like, oh my gosh. And we get to just before he's 2, and like he wasn't really babbling. He wasn't really saying anything. He wasn't really walking. He wasn't making an effort. And I noticed that he just kind of stopped looking at me. Like he wouldn't even look at me anymore. And he was smiling, but he wasn't smiling at me. Like he was looking at stuff, and like he would start shaking his head really funny. And I was like, okay, we're going to go see the pediatrician. So he was 2 years old, and I took him, and he said, listen, Mom, you have to bring early intervention in because he's supposed to be talking. He's supposed to be doing this and that and this. I said, fine. Again, this is the part about autism that's very difficult. Excuse me. Is everyone takes it differently. People can accept it.
You're right. 100%.
And that's no one's fault. It's a hard thing to deal with. It's like learning that you have cancer. It's learning this. It's a disease. It's a neurological imbalance. Nobody knows where it comes from. Everyone has their opinion. People can agree with me or disagree with me. Some people think it's vaccines. Some people think it's medications.
Do you have any idea what it could be? What do you think? Is there any kind of speculation, we'll call it?
Well, it's certainly not from genes. We have had our genes tested up, down, sideways.
Okay.
Old Navy, Levi's, none of our genes. I'm telling you, we went through everything. We ran the gauntlet. Everything. So I can tell you it's not in our genes. It could be an unknown gene. Right now we're going through...
But at this point, who really cares? What are you going to do? Blame it on somebody? Your gene, it was your gene. Right?
It doesn't matter. Like, that's it.
It doesn't matter.
It doesn't matter.
That's exactly right.
But some people need something to blame.
I understand.
And that's another thing, is people will carry this frustration instead of accepting and focusing on the child.
That's exactly right. They detour and they want to figure out who to blame.
And that's it. And the focus is, okay, we're going to this doctor, this doctor, this doctor, this doctor. And okay, let's try this. And they put their kid through heck. We're going to do this and this and this. But, when it came to Rocco, he's got medical issues. So, Rocco hasn't eaten in almost 2 years. All he eats is red Skittles and milk. And let me go. 2 years old, so we start to bring in the therapist. Rocco's saying, Mama, Dada, doggy, cute things. He's starting to walk. He wakes up one morning, and I think he got lost in Wonderland. He just didn't wake up. His words were gone. He wouldn't make any eye contact. It's like he was lost. Like it wasn't him. And I'm trying everything, and it was an empty space. So the therapist came in, and they're still working with him, and now we're trying to get sign language, and he's signing a little bit. So, I'm working on my sign language. I used to know it very well, but years go by, and you forget. Plus, it's different, a little different now, ASL with a child. And so they're working with him, and they're in the house. By the way, I had no idea I was 5 months pregnant with Lily.
Wow.
Yes. And then my gas kicked me really hard, and I was like, ooh, that's a little rough. Yeah.
Wow.
And then she came premature. She was on.
You must have had your hands full. Holy cow.
Yeah. And again, I also have bipolar disorder. So I had that, postpartum depression, but I have the best support team. And that's why I want to keep doing what I'm doing, because there are parents and women that have no one.
Yeah, that's true.
They have no one, and they have no one to reach out to. They don't even know how much help they can get from the community, from the school system, from the state. And so I have Rocco, and she came a year later. So he's getting the therapy at the house, and I'm raising her while he's doing that. And she's just about to be 2, and he's just about to start in the district special needs school. And they say to me, Valerie, she should really be starting an early intervention also. And I'm like, what? Because I'd never watched, I hate to say, not normal, but a typical child develop.
Right, that makes sense.
And they're like, well, Val, she's not starting her words either. And I was like, well, I just thought, nope, I didn't think anything. And, her hands aren't forming right. And she's not walking correctly on her feet. Her hips are inturned. And it was just like another, bombshell in my face.
Right.
And my husband works a lot. He works a lot. And, he also has narcolepsy. So when he comes home, he's exhausted just from working, and then he has to take his medication, which knocks him out. So it's a constant, juggling and balancing and making sure he has what he needs for this, and the kids have what they need. But so Rocco started in this new school, no words. He has a few sign languages, a few signs. He eats pizza, chicken nuggets, French fries, steak. This kid could eat. Okay, he could signal, go, more bubbles was his favorite. He loves bubbles. And this is a in-district school for special needs. And Rocco was a little outside. He self-harmed. He would bang his head. It didn't matter what it was. If he saw, oh, nope, not that. If he saw a concrete floor.
Right.
If he saw a concrete floor, he would just smash his head into it if he couldn't communicate with us. It was just very difficult to find the communication. But when I would go to stop him, he wouldn't purposefully hurt me, but I've had my nose broken several times.
Oh my God.
Or
how old was he when he did that?
It started at 3.
And how old is he now?
He just turned 5 last week.
Wow. Yeah. And how's he doing?
He's actually gotten much worse.
Really?
He's gotten much worse in the last, like I said, he stopped eating. That was 2 years ago, and he was 3. He stopped eating, and he was in this school. And no other schools would accept him. We wanted to go out of district, but they said because of his behaviors, because of where he was, his communication, and he was denied by, I think, 4 or 5 special needs schools, and that's when we turned to CHOP to do some, no, I think we were still with his original neurologist, and they said they found white matter growing on his brain, and then we were sent to all these specialists, and by the time you get these appointments, we're driving to Philly, we're driving here.
Yeah.
Poor Lily is trying to get her therapy in the house. And I got him into a special, it was a special, it was like a therapy location. But again, this brings, I'm just going to pull this into my, why I'm doing what I'm doing. It's, I'd say the word platform, but it's my life.
I know. I've seen that. Can I want to just take a second for a second.
Yes.
So I'm very close to your platform. I don't know if you've looked at what I've done enough. Now, my children, they're not autistic, but I'm very close to the autistic community. I want to say about 6 or 7 years ago, I'm talking to because I have a school in New York, and I said, what could we do to help the community? And one of my coaches said to me, we're working with a lot of autistic children these days. And I said, I know, but we need to, if we're going to do that, we need to be certified. So I went out and I certified my teachers. The story goes where the children that were coming to my music school in New York were deemed inaudible. They could not listen to music. They came in with headphones on, right? So they had auditory issues, right? So all this stuff. And we started making like a real big headway, like crazy headway. This is gonna make me cry, which I gotta, so I'm very close, very, very close to the family. They have 3 children who are 4 out of 4 kids, 3 have autistic special needs. I'm very, very close to the family. This particular kid, the age of I think 9, maybe he was even 8. The teacher said he will never speak. He will never speak, never. So he comes into my school, and the family came in, and so we start working with him, taking vocal lessons. So he couldn't speak, but he loved All Star. You know, hey now, you're a rock star, yeah. Right? And he wanted to do that. And then he all of a sudden hears this Imagine Dragon song, like Thunder, you know, yes. Thunder, right? So we have this big show coming up in Staten Island. It's in a theater. It's like this huge theater, like crazy big, 350 people are going to be there, and he's going to get up and sing. Nobody can believe it. They invite his teachers, who said to them when they came to open school, your child will never speak. This kid got up there and started screaming, and he started singing Thunder in front of the entire audience. And everybody got on their knees, and they were like crying. And then at the end, it was like applause. There was a standing ovation, 350 people. And the teachers were in the audience that said that this kid will not sing, will not talk, will not speak. And they would have never believed it. And the parents never gave up. The teachers gave up, the friends gave up, but the parents never gave up. You know, and when I read about your story, and there's another child, his name is John. John, and I use his name, I won't use his last name. John had auditory issues. He could not hear loud noises. So our program, I certified my coaches, they're autism certified. They have to take 20-hour course, they have to take an exam, they certified by, it's a place in Florida that issues the certifications, mm-hmm. They're on top of it. 2 of our coaches here are certified, and my coaches in Staten Island that are certified. So you have to have 3 instruments that you can play. So when you teach a child, that child doesn't have a voice for a piano, their voice might be guitar. You need to be able to go and switch like that and teach any instrument, because children need to find their voice. Very often they don't know. Mm-hmm. Your son, Rocco, might not know his voice. So him banging himself against the wall it's just because he can't communicate, right? So you need to figure out what his communication is. If it's guitar, piano, drums, voice, anything, right? Mm-hmm. So this kid, John, came in. I'll never forget, his headphones were so thick, right? And he just kept looking at the drums. And I remember this coach, Scott, he said, we got to get him behind the drums. And the mom's like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. So Scott said, okay, you go ahead and get me coffee. So we put him behind the drums with his headphones on. Mm-hmm. We gave him the sticks. And the beauty is that with the drummer, it's as hard as you hit that is as loud as it gets, right? Yeah. So if it's not that loud, you have full control of the volume. And 6 months later, we played the Eve Lounge. It was June the 9th. It was probably 7 or 8 years ago. I remember June 9th. The next day was my son's birthday. We played the Eve Lounge. And John's up there playing drums in a rock and roll band, playing an AC/DC song. The same kid whose parents said he will never be able to play drums. Crazy.
I hate that word, never.
It should not even be in anybody's dictionary. And then, you know, a very close friend of mine's father, his name is Jimmy, his father passed away, he was very close to me. And my school was literally a block away from the funeral home, and I just went there. And I don't even know why I went there. But I went there, and it was right between him being buried at the church. I was really, really just depressed at that. He was very close to me. And I'm walking through the school, and we're closed, because I'm just walking through the school. I'm fixing up, and I hear somebody knocking at the door. And this woman comes in with her son. Her son was, I think, 3.5 or 4 years old. Beautiful little boy. Like curly, he looked like a little Robert Plant. You'd give him an example. Curly blonde hair. His mom said, and I didn't know anything. His mom said, I don't know what he wants to play, but he seems to like everything. I said, you know what? We got an instrument in every room, whether it's guitar, piano, drums. Let him play everything, and at the end, we'll see which one he likes. So now keep in mind, he's about 3.5 years old. He's playing on all the instruments, and we finally get into the back room, and he's playing a little bit on the piano. So this is what I did. Let's call him, I don't want to use his real name, but let's call him Dominic. I said, and then this is exactly what I said, Dominic, man, you sound like a rock star, but you got to pick one instrument, man. What do you want to play? He goes, I want to play the drums. So the mom breaks down in tears. And I'm saying, drummers aren't that bad. I mean, I know they're loud, but they're really not that bad. So she said, you don't seem to understand. I said, no, I mean, listen, my son plays drums. She goes, this is the first time he's ever said a word. This is the first time that my son has ever said anything. That kid was, for years. And then we learned that he loved to produce and engineer. He's learning Pro Tools, and we're like teaching him everything. And it's not that he was, people misinterpret special needs. Maybe they need to be special, right? And they need to find their voice. And if they can't say it with words, maybe it's with an instrument or art, right? Or just drawing. It could be anything.
They have to have the opportunity.
And as a parent, and I always go back to this, so we started this program here, and we're also doing it here. It's called Rock Stars Rising. And it's just, it's we don't call them learning differences. Like learning, it's learning differences. It's not that they just don't know how to learn. You just got to find out what that difference is. And we've, with music, able to, let me offer that to Rocco. I know in Morris County, you're probably not that close. But if you ever want to bring them in, I mean, and I understand what you're struggling with. We have coaches that know how to handle this. They've been trained to do this. We have this coach, Anthony, he's not only taking the certification, he's got a master's in education. This is what he does.
Rocco loves the keyboard.
So why don't we bring in Rocco? Even if it's once a month. You spend once a month. But if he doesn't like keyboard and he wants to hit the drums, we can do that. It takes that one paradigm shift to change Rocco's world and Lily's world. That's all it takes.
And I mean, you should read what I wrote, because it's the two of them. They connect through music. My kids. They can't speak to each other, but they love music. And it's amazing watching them. Because Lily's scared of him, but she'll be in the other room and she'll hand me something. Mommy, can you bring this to Rocco? I think he needs it. But as soon as there's like music playing, they could be in the room together, and they connect through it, and it's just so. It's like music is his language, if that makes sense.
And absolutely does. I've seen what it can do.
Music is his language, and like during music class or when they're playing it, it's when he's focusing and he's happy. Like his reward when he does something is they play Disney music for him. And he just lights up and he stares at the Disney videos, and Disney is his magic. Disney music has brought so much to him. And that's why when I saw that, I was like, this is just, and then like seeing Wall and just knowing like that's what my son has come to life with. When he was a baby, before anything, Zootopia. I have seen Zootopia over 1,000 times because I've watched it every day since he was born. Even more than once or twice a day. And it's the music that he'll wiggle to, or he'll try and like keep the tempo with, but I feel like it's I call music the universal language.
Absolutely.
It doesn't matter who you are,
what color you are,
everybody,
what language you speak, exactly.
has a music they like.
Absolutely.
I don't know anybody who's ever like, I hate music.
Yeah.
Like,
you never hear that.
No. And, I wish there were more, that's part of my, more inclusion, more inclusive events for kids that involve music. I'm starting a program at a gym that's up north, and they're going to dim the lights, have the soft tones, but they're going to play music for them. And it's just going to be 2 hours of sensory. Because right now, and this is the thing, though, that the kids don't have to wear masks because it's big enough and there's enough ventilation. Because right now, these kids are they haven't been able to go to school. They can't do anything, and we can't go anywhere.
Yeah, you're right. I know.
I can't bring Rocco anywhere. He can't have anything on his face, or he'll freak out, and that turns into violence. But why? It's not fair. And you can't fight with the education system on it only because it's not legal.
Yeah.
Because of what's happening.
I know.
And I just, like Chuck E. Cheese used to run a program for us, which was phenomenal. It's a sensory hour. And they have it on hiatus because they understand the sensory and they can't wear the masks. And I wish there were more music programs. And I'm thinking about some places up by us, and I'm wondering if maybe I could even connect them to you to, maybe if you could talk to them about something.
Yeah, it's strange, but there's so many different ways to connect with a child. I think the reason why that little child, 3.5 years old, connected with me was, when you think about it, when you're this big, it's always the parents talking down. It's always the people, the doctors looking down. But when I got down on my knees...
It's your personality, too,
though.
though.
But I got on my knees and I was able to connect with him. I looked him in the eye. And he goes, I want to play the drums. And it was the strangest thing. It was like somebody wasn't talking down to him anymore. Someone was at his level. And that's, I tell all my coaches, you have to actually get at eye level. You really do.
I completely agree with you. And patience. A lot of people don't have patience. Now, there's so much that they need, and a lot of the parents need support right now.
Yeah.
The parents are frustrated. They feel like they're not being heard. And that, in turn, their frustration also goes to the child that they've been forced in their home with to homeschool.
Yeah.
That they don't know. And like I said, music, I think, is a huge thing.
Yeah. What can I do to help you? I want to help you. I don't know what it is, but if it's bringing Rocco here or bringing you, Rocco and Lily here, what can I do to help you?
This was it. Just to be able to get people to hear all these things.
And you've done everything for everybody, but what can I do for you or your family?
This was magical. This was magical.
If you want, you can bring in your children, and I'll have Anthony, Anthony's great. And Alyssa, who's at the front desk, she's also a vocal coach. She actually worked for Disney for 5 months, so she's been in the Disney world too. She's got that same beautiful princess voice, but I think maybe if you found the right place, it might be a little bit of a different outcome, right?
Oh, Lily loves to sing, and she's so bad.
But that's okay. We won't tell her. We promise. We promise.
I feel like Rocco's such a liability. He's very violent, and I wish that I want to bring him. I really do. Mm-hmm. I don't know that he wouldn't hurt someone.
Would it help if your husband came?
I couldn't guarantee that both of them wouldn't hurt someone. He panics. He panics when Rocco gets like that, because Rocco's most calm with me.
Right.
It's when I say, there goes I'm trying to get so much out. I'm literally Rocco's voice. I understand, I know this is bad, but when he yanks on my hair and we're in a certain room and he yanks my face a certain way, I know he wants me to fill his bottle. Or if he pinches my arm a certain way, I have to change the channel. And it's so...
Do you have a piano for him at home? Does he play?
We have a keyboard.
You do. So he plays.
He loves the keyboard. My parents have... we were going to move it to our house, but there's so much in our house right now. We've got a double trampoline. We've got ball pits. We've got... tons of yoga. We have a sensory home.
Okay.
A sensory home. It's I can't believe our walls aren't padded. They have an old player piano. And when we go to the house, he will just sit there and listen to it and play it. It's his own world. When we go across the street, my whole street's family. Across the street's my mother-in-law and then my sister-in-law, and they have a piano. So when we go there, he goes right for the piano.
Could you ever do this? This is what we do all the time. Yeah. Record him playing and then play it back for him and see how he reacts to that. Because that's the lost thing that, if you remember growing up, there was answering machines, right? So we would listen to
no. I'm just kidding. Yes, of course.
So you would have I remember listening to my grandparents on I would do anything to hear my grandparents' voice. But Kids don't hear that anymore. They don't hear their own voice unless they're in a recording studio, and then there's all auto-tune. But we found that with children with special needs, when they hear themselves back, it's a totally different reaction.
That's what I do for Lily, because she speaks dyslexic.
Uh-huh.
So I play things back for her, and I say, "That's how you say it." She's like, "What'd I say?" We do that for her.
Uh-huh.
And I never really thought of...
Have him play the piano and then play it back, because he might recognize those notes. He might recognize the fact that he might be playing out of key. You never know. You could have the next Beethoven living in your house, right? It could be Bach. You don't know that.
Because my husband, myself, and my mom all play piano.
Mm-hmm.
So, I mean, even if we just sat down with him...
Record him. Even videotape record him and then put it on the television. Chromecast it, For $30, you get a Chromecast, you hook it up to your television, and you can cast whatever's on your phone, you just cast it to the TV, and he'll watch himself. You ever see him watch himself before?
Oh, it's his favorite thing to do. My kids are obsessed with the mirrors and watching themselves.
That's interesting.
I don't know if they're copying mommy. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow,
just kidding.
I feel like we could talk for hours, just hours. I don't even know how far we've gotten.
I don't know.
Into
I'm
the
so
show.
sorry.
No, I'm just wondering if I missed anything, because your platform is autism and it's Autism Awareness.
Yeah.
And they did one. I think it was 1 month a couple of years ago, 2018. It was Autism Awareness Month. And that
Next
was it.
month, it's April.
But they were only doing it for one time. I didn't know if it was reoccurring.
Oh,
April
it is.
Yeah.
It is, and I'm gonna make sure everybody knows about it. And my big focus is going to be education, but not just fighting in the educational system, but also for law enforcement education. Because my child, I know 5 years from now, he's going to be a big boy.
Mm-hmm.
And if anything ever happens and the cops are called, I don't want to have to fear for his life.
Yeah. That's a good point. I didn't even realize that.
Yeah, that's one of my biggest fears.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's big.
Listen, a lot can happen between now and then.
I know.
Remember, my buddy who couldn't sing and talk in front of anybody played in front of 350 people.
But all those other kids that have been, you know, mishandled, and I'm fighting for them, but I'm fighting for every one of those kids.
Yeah.
I
totally understand.
So
I totally understand. So the offer's still open. Whatever it is that you want, if there's anything I can do, I really mean that from the bottom of my heart. Because I've connected with so many of these children who are deemed incapable.
I can't.
And then when you throw an instrument at them, that's their voice. And
you really shouldn't throw instruments at them.
No, well, you expose. It's all right. You expose them to the piano. Totally get it. But yeah, when you expose them, and that's why when we have the coaches come here and they're working with children, if they don't know 3 instruments, they can't get hired for that program. And that's the one thing. So if you're working with a coach like Anthony, and Anthony's on tour, we will do anything we can to reschedule only with Anthony, whereas anybody else would get a substitute. Yeah. And Anthony plays, 3 instruments. Anthony's also certified. The same thing with Marissa. She does 3 instruments as well. So we have a male and a female. He might just really like the woman, and he might want to work with the woman. Yeah. Same thing with the man. But if there's anything I can do for you, we could even talk where if there's, anything I could do with my program. Anything I could do. I really mean that.
I really appreciate that.
Mm-hmm.
I really do.
I know. My heart goes out to you. It feels like, it's a tough one. It was, but life happens for us, right?
Well, I wouldn't change a thing.
Why do you think life is happening for you? What's the good you're going to get out of this?
I was just telling Mary, just from participating in everything that's coming up, I've seen changes in my daughter, and I know that, she's going to be the one that's going to be with Rocco. God forbid anything happens. Obviously, she's going to be the one to be helping him. And just from seeing what I'm doing, and she'll say to me, "We're the best team, Mom."
That's awesome.
As I'm preparing and I'm telling her, well, I'm going to be doing this today. I have this for Rocco. We're going to be asking for this for him, because she understands that he has an ouchie in his head, and we're trying to help him talk so that he doesn't get upset all the time. And there's a special needs home for older people on our street, and we drive past him every day on our way to school. There's a gentleman outside, and I happen to know who he is. And he just waves because he has very few words. And she asked if we could stop and talk to him because he's our friend. And I said, well, honey, he has an ouchie just like Rocco. And this was a while ago. And then I was making dinner 2 nights ago, and she talks to her lit up mirror like it's a computer. And she was talking to her classmate, and she goes, we have to focus because Christopher has an ouchie like Rocco, but Christopher's a people. That's what she calls adults.
Wow.
And Rocco's a baby, and we have to help their ouchies so they can talk and say hi. And it was incredible to see this 3-year-old
Yeah.
understand the things that I've been saying and really like listening. And this is just from preparing for the pageant. And it's things like that. It's a cornucopia of all these things that I'm doing. But the fact that she sits there and she thinks we're a team doing this, it's part of her too. And I know that she's going to take all of this with her. And I feel like she's going to continue doing all of this.
Yeah.
I know she is. She'll ask me, can we walk down Main Street so we can go and say hi to everybody? She wants to make everybody feel equal.
You're a hell of a role model.
Thank you.
You really are. I mean, your
Thank
kid
you.
just shows that.
Thank you.
What's the anchor for?
The anchor is a couple of years I kind of like lost who I was, and I needed to be anchored, and it's my mom's symbol and my dad's symbol.
Wow.
Yeah, it's the Aquarius and the Taurus.
Got it.
So they keep me grounded, and they really do. They're my best friends.
Your parents?
Yeah.
That's important.
They are my best friends. I don't know what I'd do without them.
Yeah.
And they are supportive of me, and they're patient with the kids, and they do everything for me. So.
Got it. So April 10th is the big show.
It is.
Looking forward to that. Yeah, I think I'm going to be there. I'll be in the audience cheering everybody on, of course. So we end the podcast with me asking a question. And the question, it goes back to years and years ago. I'm very close to my dad and my mom, too. My dad is like my superhero, right? Dad's the smartest guy in the world. And he tells me I got his nose, the Roman nose, there's Roman all over his face. But yeah, he and I always shared a really big love for Mustangs, like the old Mustang. So I had a 66 that I had redone, and my son Salvatore, who's one of our coaches here, it was his birthday. I put in the VIN number because it was a car that was restored from scratch.
Oh.
So we park it in the car, and the garage door's coming down, and I said to my pop, I said, Dad, I love this Mustang so much. And he looked at me, he said, Dad, Michael, I just came from church yesterday, and the pastor made a good point. He said to me, everything that you own in this lifetime, in this world, is going to be owned by somebody else. Somebody else is going to own that Mustang one day, and your house and your car and everything.
Yeah.
And he says, what are you here for? And, I didn't understand that. This was probably like 15, 20 years ago, and I didn't really make much sense out of it until later, a few years back. But I'm going to ask you, let's put your children's autism aside. Let's put Cinderella aside. What do you think that you're here for, Valerie? Why is Valerie here? What's your legacy?
My legacy. That's a deep question.
It is, because people are labeled. I ask that question because people label themselves. Like, you might be labeling yourself to fight autism, but there's a legacy that you're leaving somewhere in there.
Yeah, no, I don't even think that my legacy would be part of that. I don't think that's part of my legacy.
What is your part of your legacy?
I would hope it's bigger than that. I want I'm
what
sure.
What do you want it to be? That's why I asked this question.
Yeah, I think everybody wants to leave behind this, major legacy.
Absolutely.
I hope that my legacy is that no matter, wow. So I never giving up, but that's beyond it, because many people never give up, and that's, right. But it's more than that. It's not even survival, because people survive so much more. Wow.
You know,
This is, you know what? I think I'm looking too deep into it.
No,
because I'm feeling like I want to say it's almost something as fierce as she was like. I want my legacy to be almost as if it's a phoenix. Like no matter how many times I may have failed, I continue to rise.
Mm-hmm. That's a great role model. I mean, not just for your children, but for a lot of people.
I would love to be remembered as a phoenix.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I always, the fierceness of a dragon, but not a dragon you'd fight, a dragon that you would imagine you'd want to ride.
Right out of a Disney movie.
Oh, yeah. But not the one like Sleeping Beauty.
No, not the one like Sleeping
I'm thinking we're Toothless from How to Train Your Dragon. But
or Figment.
Figment. No, I'm thinking Phoenix. I'm going out of the realm of everything. I want to think even, you know what? A feather. Because the Phoenix, or an ash. I want to think of ashes.
Mm-hmm.
Because you can rise out of anything.
Yeah.
And ashes, no matter what burns down, you can rise from it. And I want to think that no matter how bad things are, that you can rise from it. So maybe even ashes. Like no matter how things may burn down to nothing, you can come out of it.
I absolutely love this podcast. You've shown your vulnerabilities, and because sometimes people come in and they'll just talk about things, but you were just like wide open. I honor you. I honor you. I think you're a beautiful woman inside and out.
Thank you.
You're doing great things with your children, and you may not think your children realize it, but they see everything mom's doing for them.
I appreciate
And I think
that.
there's a lot of things coming for Rocco. I don't think it's I don't know Rocco, but I've seen so many miracles happen. You want to call it a miracle, you want to call it the universe or God, I think something will happen. We just got to find it, right?
Yeah.
And it could be that song, Rocco's song. That's it.
Yeah, no, and I wholeheartedly believe in miracles. He is my miracle baby, and Lily's my angel baby, because I wasn't supposed to have one, and she is so angelic in the way she takes care of him and other people. So
Yeah.
I've got my miracle, and I've met my angel.
You are awesome. You are awesome. Valerie, this was a great podcast.
Thank you for letting me be here.
And I didn't have to write anything on that sign at all.
You're going to write, get out.
Ladies and gentlemen, the beautiful Miss Valerie, Miss Princess Valerie.
Thank you.